All right, welcome to the WebCenter All-In Accountability Challenge. This is the final webinar in the series, which started on May 1st, brought us all the way through till the end of June. And also at the end of June, that concludes the second calendar quarter in your Market America unfranchised business. So lots of goals and objectives as we come towards the end of any quarter, but it really leads us into starting the next quarter. And that's really the second half of 2021. I can't believe that 6 months has already passed, but we still have 6 months ahead of us. And I think that's really exciting. I think a lot of us should really look at that as a positive. Some people think, oh my goodness, I can't believe the year is going by so quickly, but we still have half a year left. We still have 6 months to really attack our goals and really live out our dreams with purpose, right? Have that driving purpose. And we've got something incredible, on its way. And that's the Market America International Convention here in just about 8 weeks. So it is an exciting time for all of us as franchise owners, but it's also somewhat bittersweet as we conclude one contest and start, planning for the next. So tonight is going to be a recap and some recognition for some success stories. And I will let you know that we are still validating some of the information coming in from WebCenters. So we look at sales data, we look at appointment data. So some of the information that is presented tonight is based on basically user information, what we kind of pulled in from the surveys. But I will tell you that we've got some flexibility in the program just because we need to make sure that we get the results from WebCenters all the way up until June 30th, which is actually today. So with that being said, let me go ahead and jump right into it and really, remind us what this is all about. It is about making a commitment to yourself, right? Making a commitment to your business, making a commitment to maybe WebCenters, maybe making a commitment to me, whatever it took for you to kind of push yourself out of your comfort zone and take something away from this. For some people, wanted to sell websites. For some people, wanted to just set appointments. For some people, just wanted to be consistent and do something in their WebCenter business. And regardless, I think everyone that completed the program was a success. And the reason I say that is because ultimately success is a relative term. And I think we have to remember that. Not every one of us has the same goals and objectives in our business or even in our WebCenter business. So it's important for us to make sure that we stay true to our own goals and not get discouraged if we don't match up or compare with others, because they have their own goals and objectives. But if you didn't hit your own goals, it's a great time to reflect and ask yourself why. Was it attitude, activity, or skill? And what can you do to push that goal date back a little bit? And what can you do to accomplish it? It's always just about measuring, monitoring, adjusting, and controlling. And if you are really committed to attaining that goal, you will. It's just a matter of time. And if you don't hit a goal consistently, it's time to think about whether or not that's truly your goal, because something is not moving you enough. You don't have enough driving purpose to work towards that goal or to maybe get through some of those obstacles and challenges to get there. So it's a good time to just reflect and see what those goals may be. So when we look at the program, again, I think this is a good time for all of us to revisit what took place through May and June that would yield results. And we kept talking about this idea of attitude, activity, and skill. Attitude alone will not create success. Skill alone won't create success. Activity leads to results. And activity is certainly going to be impacted by attitude, but also by having an increase in activity, you're going to improve your skill level. So those that have a very high skill level might have to do less activity to yield the same results, right? But it doesn't mean that someone without the skill level can't attain results, because it just takes more activity. And you may have heard this cliche statement you hear a lot of times. It's a numbers game. Well, it's a numbers game for a couple reasons. One is you need enough activity to have follow-up. You need enough activity to make sure that you've got appointments. Need enough activity to build up the skill level to see the results as well. So it is important that we really take a look at that. So when we start going after a new goal, we're going to go through each week of this series and show you what we accomplished and what it came down to. The first was really preparation, right? Week one was all about taking our assessment. Where are we starting from? the WebCenter owner assessment. We wrote down at least our 60 business candidates, right? And then we had research on our top 15 business candidates. So we had some contacts, right? We revisited the 5C simple sales system video, right? Give you the bare bones minimum training in order to succeed. You wrote your power statement, your answer to what do you do, what is it, your power statement. And of course, when we're talking about building out an unfranchised business, we also wanted to have 20 professional business contacts towards your unfranchised. So week 1 was really about your commitment. It was about your goals, some training and setting up your action plan. So we really focused the entire month of May on your attendance, right? Were you plugged into the trainings? Were you plugged into the weekly accountability groups? Were you plugged in with your coach and your mentor on a weekly basis? Were you reaching out to them via email or asking any questions for tips or for assistance? Were you doing the weekly assignments? We're all based on getting you what? More appointments. And that was really how we launched this program. Week 2 got right down into what? Result producing activities. So in week 2, the assignment was to contact 3 candidates per day, right? And that was the 15 candidates from your list from week 1. So, you either did it or you didn't. There is no gray here. You either did the activity or you didn't. And I think that's where you have to ask yourself, why did I not do the activity? Contacting 3 candidates per day does not take a lot of time, so you can't use time as your excuse. It doesn't take any skill to actually do the contact. Maybe you didn't set an appointment, but did you contact them or not? So usually it comes down to either not having a strong enough goal or having a lack of confidence or fear. And we did address that in that week. The idea was to book, a consultation appointment, contact 3 candidates per day, which would be 15 per week, to at least schedule 1 consultation appointment. I think if everyone did that activity, you could schedule much more than that. And then we talked about this idea of having some networking meetings, right? Meeting some business owners and candidates in your area to just network with them, learn about their business as a way to kind of do that soft approach of introducing yourself to your business professional contacts. We took that into week 3, and in week 3, we really focused on taking those contacts and attending or conducting the consultations and the website or digital marketing product demo appointments, the DMP Demo Appointments. And then, of course, following up with anyone that we had talked to in week 2 or week 1. And then we started talking about, well, if we're approaching our candidates for the unfranchised business, our business prospects, well, we should be scheduling our part 1 and an overview of the business or an overview of the WebCenter business by this time. That led us right into the last week of May, and week 4, which was scheduling and conducting follow-ups. We talked about doing a massive follow-up on all of the contacts and candidates from the previous 3 weeks. And of course, continuing to lead event to event to event to event, meeting to meeting to meeting, appointment to appointment to appointment, which would take your part 1 or your business overviews for the unfranchised business, and then scheduling what? And conducting part 2, going over the compensation, talking about the 5 steps, the MPCP, and really showing what this 2 to 3 year business plan is all about. From there, scheduling those trial runs. From there, if you were doing all of those activities, June was now about results, right? Sales and sponsorship, right? If you do the right activity throughout an entire month, consistently, it will yield results. It'll have more appointments and more success. So we really started looking at how many appointments, how many website demonstrations were happening, how many DMP demonstrations were happening with product support, product specialists with MA Web Centers. And from there, we're also looking at sales. Once you've got demos going on, it's about following up and having some sales of our products and services. And of course, as we're expanding our business, we're looking at sponsorships. If you're now showing the business 1 to 2 times per week, over the course of 4 to 6 weeks, you should have some trial runs and maybe some people that are ready to partner with you as an unfranchised owner. So as we go up to the end of June, right? The end of June is the end of the second quarter. So we're also going to be, analyzing some data for who achieved the Master UFO program. And I know Jim Winkler and Dennis Franks have been going over this master program, the master class, and it's been an unbelievable training session. So if you've missed it, make sure you go back and check it out on YouTube and the replays. It was, you know, an incredible 12-week series, starting from the very beginning of starting an unfranchise all the way through to what you need to do when you sponsor someone and help them with their first 90 days. So it's going to be a great place for you to go to achieve and attain Master UFO and the Shopping Annuity Master Member Program. So when we come to the end of a quarter, those are great measurements. If you want to see how you're doing with your unfranchised business, there's two great reports for you. If you go into your UFMS, right, go into your unfranchise.com, go to My Organization, go to Reports, go to Management Reports, and then I want you to check out your Shopping Annuity Master Member Report, and I want you to check out your Master UFO Report, because that's going to give you the results of your activity over this quarter or any previous quarter. It's going to show you how much BV you personally purchase towards your shopping annuity, how much personal IBV or partner stores you're using yourself in your shopping annuity report. And then also you're going to be able to see in your Master UFO report, you're going to be able to see how much BV you moved in general beyond even yourself. So anything was personal use and you're paying ID, all the way through to other customers in retail. And of course, your personal use for IBV, your trainings, your commissions, your basic 5 diagnostic tests, and your ticket tracking. So all of those are key elements to becoming a Master UFO. So when we're looking at the weekly report through the month of June, it was very simple, right? How many demo appointments did you have? How many DMP demo appointments did you have? How many follow-ups and how many sales? How many new names were you adding to your list, and how many business presentations did you show? And from there, how many sponsored individuals in your organization? So results don't lie. But I'll tell you that in order to attain your goals, if you didn't reach your results that you're looking for, it just simply means that you need to increase your activity, or you need some coaching, right? You know, we always talk about how the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Well, if you contacted 40 businesses and you were able to schedule one consultation, it might be something you're saying or how you're saying it, or maybe the method, maybe you're texting or Facebook messaging rather than calling or stopping in. There's something that needs to be changed. And that's why it's important to work with a mentor or a coach or an accountability partner. Because if you do an enormous amount of activity and it's not yielding the results you're looking for, that's usually a key sign that something is off and needs to be tweaked. And it might just be one small change, might be one word choice that you need to change, or maybe inflection in your voice, tonality, not what you say, but how you say it. Might be the difference maker. It might be that you need some third-party credibility. You know, maybe you need to use the tools. But if you've been to the point where you have had, you know, maybe even 10 consultations and you haven't been able to schedule a demo appointment, chances are there's something happening where you're not able to do the closing correctly to close that into a website demo or DMP demo. So if you are getting discouraged, but you're doing activity, reach out to your coach, your mentor, even myself, and we can help you tweak some of those things because you're doing the right activity. I think there is some truth saying that you might need to do more, but I also think that we need to take a good hard look at what you're saying, how you're saying it, because there's probably something that can be tweaked or coached just a little bit to yield some results. And then of course, as you increase activity, you should start seeing more results through that process. And that's really why coaching is so important. I think there's plenty of trainings available in the company. I think everyone knows where to find some great content. We've got a lot of great information at our disposal, but what we really need is more coaching and mentorship. But you can only coach or mentor those that are conducting activity, right? You can only really coach or mentor the activity. And I think that's why I'm a big fan of coaching rather than training. And I hope you understand that perspective. So we did ask in the report or the survey of this week some key questions, and I want to kind of give you some feedback. And this was where they all fit together. These were the main things that were written when the question was, what did you learn or implement over this all-in accountability challenge? I think the biggest thing that we saw was consistency, right? Doing things consistently is going to be important to see results. It's not about doing a flourish of activity and then just leaving it alone. It's about doing something over and over and over again, right? How about this? Just getting started and do something. That 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method, right? Don't think about it. Don't overanalyze it. Just do it, right? You can't overthink. You need to overdo. So just get started somewhere doing something and kind of get out of your comfort zone. I think this program actually pushed some people out of that comfort zone enough where they were able to see some success. Maybe not having sales yet, but now they're starting to talk the language and they're starting to book appointments, right? How about just activity? You know, activity, stay in action. So once you have some activity, keep it going and build that momentum. So it's that persistence, that's consistence is so important. Measure, monitor, and adjust. Not every 6 months, not every 3 months, not every month, every week. Measure, monitor, and adjust your weekly activity to see if you did the right things. And that's where you get to look in the mirror a little bit and be honest. You got to be transparent with yourself and say, look, I either did it or I didn't. Leave the excuses alone. Forgive yourself, move on, and change the behavior, right? Patience. I think a lot of people came into this brand new and realized that, you know what, it's okay. I need to slow down. I need to pace myself. As long as I'm doing the right activity, I'm going to learn. Just because I have a consultation doesn't mean that it's going to book right away. It does take some patience, and you're going to be patient with yourself in the process. And I always say, fall in love with the process. In fact, if you've got an email or a text or a message from me, sometimes I have at the end of my tagline is enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey, right? It's got to be something that you really enjoy along the way. And that really is the ultimate success. It's really not an end point. It's who you become while you're on your way somewhere, right? How about discipline? Discipline in your schedule, discipline in your calendar, having a set schedule. And we talked about that in week 1. You got to be serious. You got to be a professional. You can't say, oh, I want to start a landscaping company and then just say, I'm going to sit and wait for the phone to ring. No, you got to do something. You got to know when you're working, and you need to go out there and make sure that you're doing the result producing activity when you book that time in your calendar. Another one was just build stronger relationships. Sometimes we're so focused on the end result that we're not building those strong relationships, asking the right questions and listening to the answers to really build value. And I think we talked a lot about that in the past couple of weeks about it's so important to build value because that's going to increase your credibility and your trust through this process. And that's why we talk about it as a consultation process, the 5 C's, rather than a sales process, not selling. It's really about building relationships and offering solutions for those business owners that might need something, or people that might need the unfranchised business as a potential solution. So some great feedback there. Some comments. I loved reading these. You know, this was a great start. I opened my WebCenter on a Friday and started this group the next day. I have a long way to go, but having this group right out of the gate has been an incredible blessing. And I think that speaks volumes about people that start something. They start an endeavor. They start a venture. They start an unfranchised business. They get involved with motives. They go to a nutrimetrics training. They become a WebCenter owner, and they don't take action. They sit and they wait and they try and get trained and you know, I'll take action when I learn everything I need to learn. Everything is at your disposal. You've got people, mentors, coaches, tools beyond belief, but you need to do something immediately. And it comes down to that Mel Robbins thought of just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your brain gives you 5 seconds before you change your mind. So if you're ever hesitating on something, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just do it. And you'll feel so much better. And when you do that, you're creating some confidence in yourself. If you're someone who tends to hesitate, be cautious. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'll do it later. I procrastinate, I'm scared, I'm uncomfortable. You do that a couple times and now you're creating a new habit and it becomes easier for you to put things off. So you need to break that habit. You got to break that chain and get really hard with yourself and say, I need to get this done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just do it regardless of the result. Detach yourself emotionally from the outcome. And I think that's something that too many people do is they're too emotionally vested in the outcome and not the process. So I love this. When I read this comment, I said, I have to feature that comment because it is so true. It's critical. Take action right away. Do something. Coaching was a great aspect of the challenge. I wish I would have utilized my coach more. That was interesting. I've also been utilizing the WebCenter booth demos for Oasis, DMP, etc. from the last September International Convention. These are great tools for learning the process. Yeah, there's so many great resources. If you go to the YouTube channel, we try to organize it in all the different playlists, but there's some great training content there. And if you're trying to look for more technical information, you want to learn more about maybe some of the different products, the YouTube channel is a great resource. These challenges are so beneficial. I look forward to the next challenge, as I know what I need to do more than anything else is what, folks? Take action. Take action, right? And that's the common denominator in all people that succeed. They simply did what other people did not do, right? My coach is very helpful. I definitely utilized him when I came across any questions from my candidates, which I was not able to answer, or when I was not sure about the next steps. Good. That's what the coaches and mentors are for. The role play, critical, right? Practice. The role play was helpful as well. By doing so, it gave me a bit of confidence before I contacted my candidates. And as you build confidence and your skill level increases, you become unconditionally competent, right? It's subconsciously, unconsciously competent, right? You can just do it. It becomes natural, but it all comes down to taking action, right? I love doing this challenge and would recommend anyone doing it who wants to take web centers and your business seriously. It was fun, educational, supportive, and kept me accountable to my actions. Thank you. You're very welcome. So one other critical thing that I noticed is, as I was looking at the survey results, I was looking at the question about whether or not someone would leverage their coaches. And what's interesting is the top performers, the top echelon of individuals in this program, the top either were coaching a group or they utilize their coaches throughout. Yes, I utilize my coach. Interesting, right? Top performers use their coaches. The mid-level, people that were having some success, they had maybe a couple of appointments, they stepped out of their comfort zone, they started seeing a little bit, but not as much as they would like. The majority of them, right? I had it all color-coded. It was unbelievable when I looked at this. I did use my coach, but I wish I had more. And where do you think those people would be had they used their coach or their mentor more? Right? They might be up in that top performer section, right? They were doing the activity, they were reaching out to their coach, but maybe they just needed that little extra edge, right? Get that little extra edge to push you to the top. And then, ironically enough, the lowest performance of those that stayed plugged in, right? There's a lot of people that fall out, didn't plug in, didn't use the report, didn't do much. They signed up and then didn't do anything. And that's life, that happens, right? I'm not focused on those people that didn't do anything, right? They made a commitment and they broke that commitment, not to me, but to themselves. That's on them to handle. What I can handle are the people that plugged in, that were attending the weekly sessions or watching the videos, that were submitting reports. But the lowest performers of those that were plugged in reported that they did not utilize or work with their coaches at all. And that's interesting. So it makes me wonder how badly they really wanted it, or if they're just kind of going through the motions. And I think for those individuals, it's time to really dig deep and identify what your goals are, right? Find that driving purpose and set, maybe a simple goal so that you can have some confidence when you achieve that goal. I know there's part of me that says you should have, I call it a BHAG, BHAG. A big, hairy, audacious goal, something that is just so extraordinary that's going to move you to take action. But in some people, if you continue to set these big, hairy, audacious goals, but then you don't take enough action to even come close, you kind of set yourself up for failure just in goal setting. So sometimes you need to start a little smaller and say, I need to do this because I need to be attainable. It's a SMART goal: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound, right? So let me start with something that I know I can attain. I'm going to work on the next, over 1 month, I want to sell one website. I'm going to do whatever I can to sell one website. Or maybe it's, over the course of the month, I'm going to schedule 5 consults or 1 per week. Or maybe the goal is, I am going to contact 1 candidate every single day, 5 days per week. Because at the end of the day, you either did it or you didn't. And that might be your goal. And that, once you do that, it doesn't matter what the result or the outcome is. Now the next goal, you can move from there. But it's interesting, right? Top performers utilize their coaches throughout. People that were kind of in the middle ground, they use their coaches, but not really enough. They wish they had done more. And those that did not perform well didn't use their coaches at all, right? So let's go over the results. And again, these are our preliminary results. We are still gathering data. I know that we've got some other unfranchised reports to go through, like the Master UFO report and the SAM report, as well as some other WebCenter sales data. But here's what's interesting. When I looked at the individuals who had the highest number of website demo appointments, right? Those that reported the highest number throughout the entire 8 weeks of website demo appointments: Russell Polo, Xuan Lim, Carmen Ames, Julie Brzezinski, Eric Yu, and Tiffany, right? Outstanding, because that's the activity that's going to yield results, right? And how do I know that? Because these were the top website sales. These were the individuals that sold the most websites throughout this program: Russell Polo, Xuan Lim, Carmen Ames, Julie Brzezinski, and Eric Yu. Isn't that interesting, right? Now, Tiffany's on her way, right? She's just learning. She's following up. She's got some great activity going. So I'll tell you that Tiffany's probably on her way in the next couple of weeks to selling, a website or 2 or 3 or 4, right? So the idea is that when I say activity leads to results, this was kind of by design. If you do the contacts, you're going to schedule the consultations. If you do the consultations, you'll schedule the demos. And if you do the demos, you'll result in sales, right? It's just a process. It's not about perfection, right? It's progress over perfection. Progress over perfection. So if you're looking, oh, geez, I wish I was in that category, you go back a step. Okay, well, if I want to sell the most websites, I need to have the most demos. If I want to have the most demos, I need to have the most consultations. If I want to have the most consultations, I better be reaching out and contacting the most. And if I want to contact the most, I better have a big list of candidates. If I look down and I've only got 10 on my list, well, I need to go back to the drawing board. I need to find some leads, right? I need to go out there and network. So when we look at website performance, right, it's really no different than what? Our DMP performance. So let's take a look at our results here. So our top DMP demo appointments were with Xuan Lim, Karen Ames, and Karen Queck. And wouldn't you know, the most DMP sales, what? Came from Xuan Lim and Carmen Ames, right? Over the course of this short 8-week program. So again, you want more DMP, then you need to have more demos. And I'll tell you that in a lot of cases, your website appointments will turn into DMP demos and vice versa. So if you want to start out with those DMP demos, it's a softer sell. It seems a little easier for you. You get enough of those, you'll be revisiting their website when you're talking about search engine optimization. You'll be revisiting their website when you talk about Google advertising, driving traffic for potential e-commerce sales. When you talk about social media and driving traffic, where's it going to a website? How can you kind of build it all together? So the DMP leads to website sales, and website sales lead to DMP demos. And in fact, design redesigns and design packages count as a DMP sale. So a lot of those go hand in hand with the website sale. So just interesting, isn't it? Isn't it interesting that those that had the most demo appointments resulted in the most sales, right? And I'll tell you right now, from those demos, it means that they also had the most consultations. Now, when we talk about unfranchised results, sponsorship performance results, the individuals that presented the unfranchised business, either personally or within their teams the most, were Xuan Lim, Carmen Ames, Stephanie Parks, Derek from the West Coast, Donna Mitchell, Eric Yu, Tiffany. Again, Tiffany's name comes up here. Proud of you. Julie McFarland, Julie Brzezinski, and Russell Polo. So for all of those business presentations happening, again, it's a timing thing. It's about following up, and it's about just getting and sorting through to find the right people. And if it hasn't happened yet, it just means that it hasn't happened yet. That's it, right? I know it sounds funny. If it hasn't happened yet, it's just because it hasn't happened yet, but just keep doing the activity. So the most UFOs sponsored or added within the team came from these individuals. Derek, congratulations. Great to see your name on the leaderboard here. Carminta, right? Now, what's interesting is that she didn't show up in the unfranchised presentations, but she had a very high close ratio. So show the plan, sponsor someone, right? So that might be based on the relationship or her credibility. Might be just the individual. Xuan, of course, had the most business presentations. Of course, she's going to have, a high number of sponsored or added to the team. Russell Polo, same thing. Stephanie Parks, Eric Yu, Carmen Ames, right? So isn't it interesting? Those that show the most plans sponsor the most people. And maybe it's for your team. Maybe you showed the most plans within your team and they added the most to your team. So it's not, by accident. It's by design. And that's what this entire program was about, was to put this shining light and make it so, glaringly obvious to you that if you want results, you need to take action. And there's only one person can do that, and that's up to you. And you got to find out why, that driving purpose, why or why not. And that's going to be the difference maker. So in the month of July, we're taking our top performers and really creating a leadership group, an accountability group for these individuals. There'll be weekly accountability and mentorship. It's an invitation. Some people may be in a point where, they don't want this support. Maybe they can't fit it in their schedule. Maybe they got some other things going on. Maybe there's a vacation, a trap, whatever it is, but it is an invitation. And we're going to focus on WebCenter results. And what results are those? Sales. We're going to focus on WebCenter results. We're going to focus on unfranchised business success. When we talk about unfranchised business success, that's the basic 5. Mostly going to be what? Result producing activities, which are going to be retailing, prospect recruiting and sponsoring, and team building, leadership, right? So we're also going to focus on team building and leadership with this crew. So this may be altered, and there might be some people added to the invitation list. And that will be hopefully out by the end of the week once we gather all the data. But right now, here it is. Here's our leaderboard. And it might be because you did really well in the unfranchised category, but not very well in the WebCenter category. Or maybe you did really well in the WebCenter category, but not in the unfranchised category. Or you just a rock star and did both. Right. In fact, there's a couple people on this list that have already accomplished the Market America International Convention WebCenter Challenge. Paperwork has come in. We verified it. They are challenge winners right from this group. And I like to think that staying accountable through this program helped yield those results. So here we have, here's the list, right? We got Derek, Calminta, Marie, Russell, Tiffany, Stephanie, Esther, Karen, Donna, Schwen, Glenda, Carmen, Nathan, Eric, Tiffany, Carminta, your name's on there twice, Julia, and Julie. I will be sending out an email to every member of the All-In Accountability Program, thanking you for joining, along with the recording link. But these individuals will get a special invitation to a weekly program that we'll put together through the month of July. And hopefully we'll get some success stories that we can really focus on at the Market America International Convention at the end of August. So it has been a pleasure going through this program with you. It really is the conclusion. And for those that maybe aren't moving along to the next phase in July, I'll tell you what, just go back and go week to week and do what you did in the first 8 weeks. And that's all it is. It's about taking action. It's about setting a goal and preparing your schedule. It's doing the 5 C's consistently each and every day, taking action, following up and following through, and you'll be a hopeless success. You will be a hopeless success as long as you continue to do the right things. And for those that are looking for some additional training, mentorship, we got some great WCTs on the GMTSS. Pay attention to that. But we'll also be doing some, some trainings and things sporadically throughout the next couple weeks and months. So stay tuned to the WebCenter Owner Support Facebook group, and realize that this is just, if you're not moving on, it's just not now. It's not your time yet because you just haven't gotten the results. But the results are going to come from the activity, and that comes from doing everything we did in the first 8 weeks. And I commend you for those that plugged in each and every week and are starting to see some momentum. I was getting incredible emails like, I've been a WebCenter owner for years, never did anything with it, and now booking appointments. I had my first consultation. I had my first demo appointment. I had my first website sale. I didn't have a sale, but I got 4 follow-ups. And that's really what this is all about. Again, I'll say it again. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. And if you can continue to progress, maybe 1% better each and every day, by the end of a year, you'll be at 365% better than where you are right now. So it's been a wonderful time with you week to week. Stay in touch, email me, let me know how I can help you and support you. We're also formulating our next contest as we come out of the International Convention through the fall. So stay tuned for that announcement as well. If you got any ideas or things that you liked about this or things that were maybe a little challenging or limiting or things that you'd like to see, you know, I'm always open to feedback. So certainly email me, jasonp@marketingamerica.com. And I hope you have a great week in the business. And please, please, please stay in touch. Your success is our success. What's good for one is good for all. What's good for all is good for one. I wish you well. And I want to make sure that I challenge you each and every day to do your personal best and find out what it is that'll make you be all in for your life. What is it going to take? What is it you're shooting for? And what can you do to get there? Thank you.